Howard Dean is right. We need, as Democrats, need a 50-state strategy. We take the position oftentimes that some states are automatically going to vote Democratic. Obviously, the great state of Texas elected Ann Richards. Governor. Who grabs their imagination, who speaks to their values, and who talks about the issues that are important to them. John has been really direct that he will run a 50-state campaign. I've actually been to Texas. I've been to rallies in Texas myself, and so has John. Actually the Young Dems actually just in the last couple of days had their national convention in Texas. And they may have done it to spite President Bush. I don't know. But in any case, they were there. But we take the position we can't win certain states. You know, and you probably heard it. You couldn't win Oklahoma. Certainly Oklahoma is a Republican state. Or Kansas, you know, they wrote, Thomas Frank wrote the book, What's the Matter with Kansas? Or that we couldn't win Tennessee. Well, Al Gore couldn't win Tennessee. Or we couldn't win Louisiana. You know, that's a deep South state. Every one of those states has Democratic governors. Every one of them. We can elect Democrats in these states, and we need to be contesting those states. The voters in those states certainly deserve it. We didn't win North Carolina last time. We're very sorry about that. Certainly we're very sorry about that. We didn't spend a single dollar in North Carolina. You can't win a game you don't play in. And you can't also give the other team a 40-point lead and expect them to win the game. So you have to compete every place, and John will compete every place. And you know, it's of course my personal opinion, with which I hope everyone would agree that as I know they won't, that against the definitely likely Republican nominees, that John is the strongest in precisely the states you're talking about. I mean, I would love to go to Texas against Rudy Giuliani. You know, Edwards against Giuliani in Texas. I feel great about that.
I'm really curious, given your outspokenness about issues like gay marriage, I'm really curious about how your faith impacts your political views.
You know, Jim Wallace is another example, I think, of a religious liberal. Met David Quo when John did an interview on BeliefNet, who actually was the fellow in the White House, who quit the White House. He did the faith-based initiatives, that was going to do the faith-based initiatives there, and he said it was a sham, and again, that they were not really interested in doing it, and he left. I think that, I don't know what his political leanings are, but honestly, given the things about which he's concerned, I think if I had to guess, I would describe him in the same way as well. I grew up, my father was in the Navy, and we grew up all over the world. So I grew up with Shintos and Buddhists, but I grew up in a Christian tradition. I attended what was basically the Protestant church, and we had a Protestant service and a Catholic service. The Protestant service is loosely based on Methodist ritual, and I belong to the Methodist church today. I have, I think, somewhat an odd version of God. I do not have an intervening God. I don't think I can pray to him or her to solve, to cure me of cancer. I appreciate other people's prayers for that. But I believe that we are given a set of guidelines and that we are obligated to live our lives with a view to those guidelines. But I don't believe that we should live our lives that way because we have some promise of eternal life, but because that's what's right. We should do those things because that's what's right. In our prayer, on Monday, John and I are renewing our vows. It'll be our 30th anniversary. And we sat down, we actually married in the Baptist church. He was a Baptist at the time, and we found this small country church, actually a mile and a half from where we live right now. And we sat down with the minister, and he did this is what the regular service will be. And then there were prayers of dedication that were included. And he gave us a long list of a long choice of what we wanted to include. And I found as I was unpacking recently our vows from 1977. And the first prayer of dedication actually is what we believe it's nice to see it's what we believed back then as well. And that is that our marriage and our lives should be dedicated to serving others, to lifting those in our community who were without hope, and making certain that opportunity was available to everyone. It was actually part of our wedding vows. I consider that, that was certainly a religious choice at the time, but I consider that those guidelines that I promised, that I thought I was given, and that I promised to live by. I hope that's a satisfactory answer to your question.